Hey guys, it's Jeff. This is going to be part 7 already of the DOS Werk 8.8 centimeter off 9T VOMAG. Probably still not saying it right, but it's the big truck with the big gun on it, 1/35 scale. I've got a lot of parts cleaned up. Let me switch cameras here and I'll show you kind of what I've got going on, okay? Be right back. Okay, here's where we left off. In step 4, we put the tires together. I didn't get a chance to put any paint on them or primer yet, but they're all very, very good to go. I still see a little sanding dust in there. I just use a old, if I can get it, just an old toothbrush, kind of get the sanding dust out. I'll go over these and wash them with alcohol before I ever put any primer on them. That gets a lot of that sanding dust out of there. Anyway, there's all the tires and wheels and the brakes, which I'm not going to put on yet. And these are parts for the rest, the next part of step 4 and 5. Okay, we've got another real long piece of exhaust pipe that I'm going to paint separately. I'll talk to you more about that in a little bit. Let's take a quick look at the directions, okay? Okay, in the last episode, we put the wheels and tires together. Did not put the brake drums on yet. And I made up the front wheels and the spare also. I'm not going to attach these to the chassis yet. There's no reason to. Here's that long exhaust pipe. I'm not going to glue it on because I want to paint it. And then there's another piece of exhaust that's up here that they had us attach earlier. Well, they wanted us to attach earlier on. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to glue these to the muffler, which is subassembly E. Okay, that's this right here. And then I'm going to have it all painted before I put it on. And I don't want to try and fit the exhaust pipe until I have the engine at least dry fit in place. More about that in a little bit. Anyway, I've got two, I think they're air tanks that we need to put together, and there's seams on those, so I want to make sure that they're glued and have the chance to set, and then I'll sand the seams before I put them on. And the headlights. The headlights, you got a choice of either the clear lens or the blackout cover with a little slot. I think I'm going to go ahead and do the regular lens, but there's no detail inside the light. And I'm going to use a little bit of stretch sprue, and I'm going to put a bulb inside there so that it looks like there's something inside through the clear lens. So let's go down to the bench and I'll kind of show you what the plans are. I also have everything ready for 5, but there's lots of modifications I want to make on this, so we'll talk about that too. Anyway, let's go down to the bench. Okay, here's the muffler, and it's in 2 pieces. I want to go ahead and put that together and let it have a chance to set up. So let's do that real quick. Grab this. The muffler has the way it's got to locate the seams is it's got a little groove on both sides, and then this has got a little tongue on both sides. It helps if you put it together the right direction, to where they lock in to make the seam a little bit better and a little bit easier to glue. So let's put that together, and I'll put a little clamp on it, and then we'll set it aside for a little while. Some of the sprue connecting points on this were kind of in bad spots. I think I got them cleaned up well. We'll see how the seams all go together. See, that's holding that open. It'll close. All right, I want to get just a little more glue in there, I think. That side looks good. Grab just a clamp. That should be good. Okay, we'll leave that alone for a while. And let's go ahead and look at these tanks. These are, I believe, air tanks. And they were kind of the same way. They had kind of I can't even think. The sprue connecting points. Had to be real careful with them or you're going to deform them. These have got a little, like a pipe fitting on one end and a notch on the other. So you have to match the right one up. And it's also got these slots on the bottom. So you got to match the right one up to the right one to where you got your slots in the right place. That's got a little flash in it. I'll clean up later. Let's go ahead and glue this one together. I want to make sure the glue is dry and the seams are all sanded before I even think about putting them on. I watched Nigel's video this morning. He was doing kind of like a, after the first impressions, I guess, where he'd started the kit and he was coming back and talking about some of the things he'd noticed. And I've noticed pretty much everything too, but it's good for you guys to see that the kit is very good. I really like it, but it does have a lot of fiddly little things that you've got to do. And it's not just build it and put it together. You've got to do a little bit of work on it because there are some things that need modification and some seams and things that need fixed. Connection points are very, very tiny on this. They need to be thought out. Okay, so I got the slots in the right place on that one too. A little more glue in that one. A little in there too. Okay. Okay, those are going to be good, but they're going to be a while before we can really do anything with them. Okay. Let's talk about the engine. Here's the radiator. Well, this is all step 5. Here's the radiator. It goes together like this. Really nice detail. There was a huge mold seam across the top of this I had to sand out. Fact is, I see just a little tiny little bit still there. Well, I can do that once it's glued together. But this will fit inside. So that's pretty easy to do. I'm not going to put the VOMAG emblem across it yet. I want to be able to paint that separately and put it across instead of have it just like blend in. So let's go ahead and go around and glue this in. I could actually use a slightly thicker glue here, but this will work. around a couple of times to get the plastic soft. Okay, that's about all there is to that. The little VOMAG, or FOMAG, I'll never get it right. We'll go here. But I want to paint the radiator black and then add that on top of it later. I think it'll look nicer. Okay, kind of like that. So we'll keep these two separate for the time being, and I'll get that little tiny little bit of seam that I missed. Okay, this is something I noticed, and I think Nigel did too. This is the bottom connector for the radiator hose. It's extremely tiny. Got some glue or something on my finger there. And then there's the top one. Again, extremely tiny. So not going to be, I can't even tell if I'm in focus or not. Hang on a second, guys. I can adjust the focus a little bit on this. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, there's the bottom radiator hose mount, and there's the top. Somebody's honking. I don't know what that's about. Okay, this is the headlight. It's going to have a really, really tiny mounting point to the frame. I won't be putting these on for a while. I may even modify this and make it out of wire so I can make these longer and actually drill a hole into the frame. I haven't decided yet. There's no detail in here at all. And if I put a clear lens on there, you're going to see right in there. What I'm going to do is in the center, I'm going to probably drill all the way through and then just sand the back flush again, but put a little piece of stretch sprue in there, and I can paint that a slightly darker color or something. I'll probably paint it silver and then paint the bulb gunmetal or do something just to make it look a little more obvious. But I'll work on those a little later. I'm not going to worry about those quite right now. Okay, that's going to bring us on down here in step 5 in the engine more, which we've got some sub-assemblies and things. Okay, here are the parts for the first sub-assembly of the engine. The engine halves will go together, and then we've got a timing chain cover that goes on the front, a bell housing on the back. I don't know if that's supposed to be a fuel pump. Well, I think it's a water pump. Fact is, I'm sure it's a water pump now. And this will go in kind of behind. They say in the instructions, make sure you fit this piece before you fit this piece, because it's going to kind of go behind it there. I'm not going to fit this until after I have most of the engine done, just to make sure that everything lines up well. There's really no locations to it. Something else I've done, and I'll put pictures up in just a little bit. This is a diesel engine, and this is the injectors right here. And I've gone through and drilled the holes for all the fuel lines. Okay, I'm going to modify this and put the fuel lines on, which did not come with the kit. Here's the ejector pump. Here's the pump. Okay, and I broke this, just messing with it. That broke off. Actually, it's not broken off, but it's almost broken off. And I drilled, oops, see, you can't see. Let me put some pictures up. I modified this too. I put holes in it for the hoses, so you can see, if you can see that. And I'll be replacing this little thing with brass. Okay, see the holes in that? I'll put some pictures up. I'll go ahead and do that right now so you can kind of see what's going on. Okay, here's the fuel pump before modification, You can see the 6 little connectors at the top. On the back, I marked where those were so I could try and keep my spacing the same. Then I cut those little nibs off and I drilled them. There's the holes. I think I'm going to use 0.3 wire. And then here's the engine block before modification. And I sanded those down just a little bit. I left a little bit of a nib. And then I came back and I drilled holes in that. The second one from the left, the drill bit actually broke on me, so I had to work on that. And now we're back to the regular video. Okay, so this will be fitting in a little while, but I wanted to modify this before I glued it on. So you can see the holes in there. So let's go ahead and get the main part of the engine put together. This would be pretty simple. I've got hair in there. Trying to keep everything on camera. See, that'll fit just like that. I'm going to want to sand a few seams too before I go too far. Let's see, let's hold it like this. Okay. And this obviously is not aligned correctly. Whoops, come on. Let me get that all straight. Okay, that's where that goes, and you can see I got a seam there. I want to clean that up before I do too much more. Try to get the top of the engine all lined up where that's smooth. Okay, that's the way that goes. Just a little more glue in there, in there. Okay, that's the basic idea. And then over here we've got this. I'm not real sure. Okay, hang on, I got to look at the instructions again. Timing chain cover. There's a little photo etch bracket that goes on here that they just had gluing to the surface. And I went ahead and took my saw and I cut up just a little bit just to give us a place to actually mount the photo etch, so it'll have a little better location. This will go here, okay, in the back like that, and this will go to the back of the fuel pump. Let's go ahead and mount that in there. Okay, that'll go like that, and then this will go like this. Okay, I want to sand this joint a little bit and make it look a little bit better before I put this in the way. So I'm going to let this set up for a little bit. I can go ahead and put this on, I believe. Yeah, I should be able to put that on with no problem. Let's do it this way. Put the glue on the inside here. Okay, that looks good. Okay, just a little more glue down the inside. See, I've got a seam here I'd like to sand too. This will go like this. Just like that. Okay, and this is going to go on here, and it's got an extremely tiny mounting point to it. I might wait to do that. Let's go ahead and put the valve covers on. And I want to make sure that those are pointed in the right direction. Let me see here. They're going to go, they've got a little lump on them, and they're going to go toward the side with the ejector pins. So they're going to go on this way. Okay. So we can go ahead and mount those now. I keep pulling the wire. I'm afraid I'm moving the camera. Toward the side with the ejectors. Okay, there's our basic engine. I'm not going to do any more until I can sand these and clean those up a little bit. So I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with these seams now. There's the front. Shouldn't really be noticeable under paint. And there's the back. Feels good. You can see a little white line there, but I don't think it'll be noticeable. Okay, I've got this to put on, which will go here. Now there's the drive for the injector pump. It'll go here, but I got this little pin that's broken. And I think I'm going to go ahead and replace that with some brass. Now, I was on eBay the other day. It's always good to have some brass around. I picked this up. It's got all kinds of different sizes. It goes from 1 millimeter to 8 millimeters, 36 pieces. I think it was around $12 or $13. Handy to have on hand. Here's a 1 millimeter piece of brass here, and I'll be using this for some other things too. I've got some wire that's smaller than that, but no brass. But this pin, I think, is just about right at 1 millimeter. So I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to glue that in. Then I'm going to drill the back of this to where that fits in there. I think that'll look better than this pin. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll get that done here real quick. In fact, this is just about ready to fall off, if you see. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and sand this to where it's got a flat surface to start with. Okay, just doesn't take much. Then I've got a, where is it? My center punch, here it is. This has got a real sharp carbide point on it. We can get our location just about where we want it. Pretty close. Okay, that should be all right. This is a 1mm drill bit. When I first start, I don't just drill. I kind of check if I need to work the drill, the hole one way or the other. You can kind of angle the drill bit to get it pretty much where you want it. Clear the swarf out often. These bits are really, really brittle. You just got to let them kind of make the cut, don't push. Okay. That should be plenty deep enough. Yeah, just perfect. Okay, that'll be better, I think. Okay, let's do the same thing here. This has already got a little center to it. Okay. That'll be good. Yeah, well, I think maybe that's just a little too long, but we'll get that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set this in place. Like that. And set this in place and measure and get a approximate length. If I can get it in the holes. There it goes. Okay. I'm thinking about 5mm should be enough. Okay. Let me cut this real quick and I'll be back, okay? Okay. There's our brass piece. Right there. I had to go get my cutters, so it's real easy to cut with that. You can also use a knife, but let's put that in here. Okay. Don't know if I want it to go in too far. And then we'll glue this in here. Oopsie, my pin fell out. That'll be all right. Let's get this glued first. We'll go like so. Okay. Front there. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then let's get this and this. This will go in here. It doesn't go in very far. Far enough. And I'm going to put some glue on here. I've already test fitted, so I know it's all going to match up. Okay, there we go. There's our modification. I don't even need to glue that little brass pin in. I'm having a heck of a time seeing it. Yeah, I guess you guys can see it okay. Okay, I think that looks better. Okay, now we've also got this little water pump to go on right here. I'm not going to put that on yet. I'm afraid I'm going to break it. It'll go here, and I need to line it up with the radiator. So I'm going to have to make sure all those line up before I do much more. Here's the rear motor mounts. You can put those on, and they're going to go right here on each side, just like that. Okay. Put a little. Okay, and then the other one. Okay, and then we've got the starter. Let's see here. Here's the starter. I'm getting my parts all mixed up here. Here's the starter here. It's going to go here. Make sure I've got it the right. It's going to go this way. Yeah, just like that. Okay. Let's put that on. Not sure exactly where the glue points are. Okay, now that we've got that on, we can go ahead and do this. Something Nigel pointed out in his video, which I can see, is this is not a real accurate fit this way. So if you want this to line up with your starter, which this actually seems like it should go farther back. Okay, yeah, that looks better. We want to make sure this bump right here in the bell housing lines up with the starter. Okay, so now we can glue that on. Sorry guys, this video seems a little chopped up. I've had quite a few interruptions today with deliveries and various things. I'll do my best to edit it to where it looks right. Okay, whoops, didn't put enough glue on it. Let's put a little glue on the inside. Get that surface softened up a little bit. Okay, yeah, that all lines up very well with the starter now. Sorry if you guys can't see what I'm doing. Okay, now I've got a few pieces that are in halves that need to be put together. There's our little broken piece. We'll get rid of that. Trying to think of the order. Here we go. these parts need to be put together, and then I'm going to let those clamp and set for a while. I'm not sure just exactly what these parts are, but they do have some seams that'll need cleanup. So go like so. I looked on the internet trying to find some good pictures of this engine. I could find pictures of more modern VOMAG engines. Oh, see, I'm off camera again. I'm sorry, guys. But I couldn't find anything this old. That'll need to be cleaned up back there. Okay, I'm going to put a clamp on that. Got a pretty good gap there that maybe my sanding, I got a little carried away with some of the connecting points. Put a clamp on it. Okay, another part to let dry. And this, I really don't know what this is. Whoops, I wasn't sure about the way it was supposed to fit, so I didn't glue where I should have. Okay, and that one's going to need a little bit of clamping too, I'm afraid. Let's see here. Yeah, I got a little bit of a gap there. I may have to do a little seam work. Although, you know, once this engine's in, I'm not sure if anybody's ever really going to see it. But I'd like to do the work anyway, just to practice. That's going to probably need some more work. Okay, I think that's all right, but it's going to need some time. Okay, one of the other things we have here, I'm going to save that. These are some little, I think these, whoops, that's another part. These are little, I think they're the air intakes. They're either air intakes or they're breathers. And they go on the side here. And they're going to be really fragile. I'm not sure if I'm going to glue them on just like they are, or if I'm going to actually try and put pins in them. But we'll decide that. I'm going to go ahead and let this stuff dry. And this video is kind of chopped up. I'm sorry, but yeah, I've been interrupted several times today. We'll continue on and get some more of it done tomorrow, okay? Alrighty, guys. I'll put a picture or two up. We'll talk to you later, okay? Bye-bye.